Yeah, I mean, that was pretty dominating win. I was really happy with our guys' effort, particularly on defensive end of the floor. We put a heavy emphasis on McGee. Outside of those 2 threes he got early in the second half, I thought our guys did a really good job on him. Namari did a great job to start. Jaden Bradley came in, did a great job. Anybody that got switched on to him did a really good job. I think they struggled a little bit with our length and athleticism, finishing at the rim. So, I think they had us for 6 blocks, so might have had even more than that. So, I wasn't that concerned with our three-point shooting last game. I've seen us make shots a lot in practice. I just told them, let's take the right shots, shoot them in rhythm, trust your work. Sears and Brandon came out 3 of 5, 4 of 5. So they shot it well, and we got some other guys that can really shoot it. That, Namari's going to start making some shots. I know he can make shots. So, and Ryland makes some shots too. So, all in all, I thought it was good. We got stuff to work on still, but that's a quality team. It's picked to win the A-Sun. There's already been 3 A-Sun teams going and beat high major teams this year already. So, and they are good. I mean, they're going to go win a lot of games. They've won a lot of games every year that Richie's been there. We got him on a tough night and thought we had some guys that could match up with McGee pretty well, and it's going to end up being a really good win for us because they're going to go win a lot of games here this year.
You started off with defense. I wanted to ask a little bit more about Namari. I mean, what did you like out of his matchup with McGee when he was on the floor, and how did he execute tonight?
Yeah, Namari's got length. He's got a 6'10" wingspan. He's a high IQ guy, plays hard, thinks about the right stuff. So, we liked it. I thought, that also enabled us to put Sears onto Porter, and Porter had a big rep coming out of high school, so we thought Sears' quickness could kind of match Porter, and thought Namari's length and size could bother McGee, and I think it did. I mean, McGee didn't shot 3 for 11, 1 of 5 from 3. We did a pretty good job with him.
You mentioned the three-point shooting, but how good was it to see it translate into a game? And then also, how much did it open up the rest of the offense? It seemed like you guys got a lot of easy buckets with them kind of focused on the outside.
Yeah, I mean, they run the pack line. Richie was with Tony Bennett at Virginia. They pack everything in really tight and going to make you score from the perimeter and not get let the ball get in the lane. So, you got to make some shots. So it certainly helped. We went 10 of 22 from 3 because, Brandon, being as long as he is, can kind of shoot over him a little bit. So it's huge that Brandon made those. And, Sears has been a quality shooter his whole career. I mean, at Ohio last year, he shot, I think, 42%. So we knew he was going to get it going. So it was big that those shots dropped for those guys. Big for our offense, too, to kind of keep the floor spread. And then once you start making them, they got to come out of the pack a little bit and opens lanes up to drive and able to draw some fouls.
A few minutes into the game, Liberty got loose for a few layups underneath on passes going into the end. You look pretty animated about it. Was that just good screening or an awareness issue? Or
I don't even think they came off screens. I think we just lost our guys on cuts. I mean, we had guys that we were supposed to be helping off of. They've got designated screeners and they got designated shooters, and the guys that were guarding the slashers, screeners were losing their men. They were getting beat on some back doors. So we had that issue too much tonight, actually, but there's a couple, back-to-back there. We call timeout and get this thing straightened out and make sure that we're not giving them a run. Because they were in that thing there for a good part of the first half. I mean, we didn't open that up till late in the first half, beginning of the second half. So we just want to make sure that we got our defensive side. You got that timeout in the first half. You don't use it, you lose it. I end up having it sitting there with 30 seconds to go most of the time. So we had a few defensive screw-ups, and we would use it and get them straight there.
Yeah, Coach, you lost Shaq, you lost Keon, you lost JD. You come back with this insanely deep guard group, and this is without Welch and Quinterly. So what's the potential for this group, and how special do you think they are?
We got some guys that can really play, and like you said, I mean, Dom Welch is a proven shooter. shot almost 40% in his career, in a quality league. So when he gets healthy and can play, it'll give us even more depth. And Quinterly's best breakdown guy in the team, so I think he'll get our shooters better shots when we can get him back. So we wanted more length, versatility, more depth. I mean, last year you kind of preach all the defense you want. If there's nobody to put in the game when they're not playing defense, it's hard to hold them accountable. Well, we don't have that problem this year. If they're not going to guard, they're not going to stay in the game. So they're guarding right now. I think our effort's been really good the first 2 games, and I expect it to stay really good, especially when we start adding some more of these guys, because these guys are playing. We've got Brandon and Mark played almost 30 minutes. But we've got a lot of other guys that are mid to high 20s. Well, Quinterly and Dom Welch get back, and Darius Miles didn't play tonight either. He's another perimeter player. So you get those 3 guys back. Some of these minutes, a lot of these minutes are going to get cut a little bit. So how do you stay on the floor? Well, you better be playing defense at an elite level, because we got plenty of scoring options. Like we need some guys that are really going to lock in and be solid defenders. So I was happy to see Namari and Jaden both do what they did tonight on a guy that averaged 25 last year.
Coach Clowney and Bediako said yesterday the big focus for you guys was ball handling and turnovers. I was just wondering what you thought, how your team performed in that area tonight.
Better than the last game, but still too many. I mean, Sears, our point guard, had 5. Some of them were just – he played a great game. I thought, he shot it well, got to the free throw line. He's a better free throw shooter than what he shot tonight, too. He rebounds the ball great for a guard, but we got to get him to cut down on his turnovers, I think. Jaden Bradley was pretty good. He's the other guy. He only had 1 turnover to go with his 3 assists. So we had 14 assists, 15 turnovers. You'd like to see that ratio a lot better the other way. It's still going to be a point of emphasis here moving forward. We just got to clean some stuff up in that area.
What do you think about the team's ability to put them away in the second half when they could have come back and made an effort?
Yeah, I thought we had one kind of when they got on the floor for that loose ball first, and then we came down and they got the foul called on us. We had a media timeout pretty quick after that. We got to play harder than them. We chart the blue collar points. I think there's 10 4-minute wars. Every 4 minutes you get a media timeout. I think we won the blue collar on 9 out of the 10. So we just made that a huge point of emphasis that, we're not going to let this team come in here and play harder than we play. We're going to fly around, get more deflections, blocks, rebounds, take more charges. I thought we did a good job of that. At the end of the game, I think, Ryland ended up winning the blue collar deal, but we had a lot of guys right there with them. And this is a team that slows the game down. And, once we got the lead, it's hard to slow the game down when you're down as much as they were in the second half. So I think we had 72 possessions, which is only maybe 5 or so less than what we had on Monday night. So, I think our guys had us charted for 85 blue collar points. They had 48. So I thought we gave really good effort for the entire game, really.
Obviously, it ended up being a dominant win, but immediately after that timeout, what kind of response did you see from the team on that 11-0 run, and then just how did that kind of carry over into the rest of the game?
Is that what we had out of that timeout, 11-0?
The first half time.
I didn't realize that. Yeah, it was a great response. Guys come out, locked into the defensive end. We just keep preaching defense, effort, blue-collar play. The shots will drop. We're too talented on offense. As long as we play unselfish, the offense will take care of itself. So I thought for the most part we did that tonight. So plenty of stuff to clean up. We'll get back to the video, but efforts, we haven't had an issue with the effort in the first 2 games. That's what we want all year. If we lose at some point this year because we just couldn't make a shot and got quality shots and our effort was there, we can live with that. We're not going to live with losing because we got out-efforted, if you will.
Coach, the team was a lot more aggressive in the second half, attacking the interior of Liberty's defense in the half court especially. Was that kind of a point of emphasis going out of the locker room?
We wanted to spread them out a little bit. I think, making a few shots, got them kind of out, and then getting some stops and getting out in transition too. A lot of that attack in the paint happened early in the clock. Sears getting the ball downhill early. So, if you can get stops and run on your stops, I think it's a lot easier to get some paint touches in transition before their once their half-court defense gets set up. I mean, they're tough. I mean, They don't let the ball get inside. They're good, but we were able to get a lot more transition opportunities in the second half.